share, permit me to share my screen. Just a moment, please. Yep. Okay, so let's see what we have today. Okay. Can we all see my screen? Okay, thank you. Somebody said I can't hear. Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, thank you. I think it might be that student that said you can't hear me. I think it might have to do with your audio, so you might need to check your audio. So it is academic workshop on how to write your coursework effectively. That is what we are focusing this evening. And my name is Reme Olushola Kolaole, but you can call me Dr. Hook. That is my nickname. So let's see what we have. So what will be the learning outcome? I am sure that you know that when we start teaching, the first thing we want to see is what will be the learning outcome. What are we going to be achieving? Which I think is very important. So at the end of this seminar, you should be able to understand and remember and create your own knowledge of assessment criteria and also assessment presentation and structure and critical writing of assessment. Now, because of our time, we might not look at the third one, the critical writing of assessment. That is why I said we are going to be organizing another section again to look at the critical writing of the assessment. But today I'll just explain some of the aspects, what you need to do so that you can kickstart your assessment. And for those who are at the University of Bradford, I'm sure your assessment submission will be around the first week or second week of January. So by now, you need to start. You need to start preparing and you need to start doing one or two things. Like I was advising during the last, during some of my classes last week, you don't have to wait to the end before you start writing your assessment. 50 words today, 20 words today can go a long way, you know, to support your writing. And don't think that you want to be a professional writer in a day. Even some of us who are also PhD holder, we struggle at times, sincerely, and we struggle to be where we are today. So I think you need to also make sure you struggle, and not just to struggle alone, make sure you put your mind in what you are doing. If you put your mind in what you are doing, there is nothing that is difficult. I do tell people that if I can complete a PhD, then I believe no one on earth that cannot complete a PhD. PhD is not a small joke. It's an hard work study. You need to work very hard. And if we can do it, then believe yourself that you too, you can do it. So that is the first thing I just want you to know. Believe that you can do it. So we're going to start today with what is called assessment criteria. Now, I will be using example from the University of Bradford because I know majority of students here are from the University of Bradford. So we have other students also from other schools joining us. Now, every assignment or every assessment that is being given to you, that will be what is called an assessment criteria. So take note of that. So there is a criteria for every assignment. And that should be your first document you need to study. That is, the criteria is my expectation. So for example, if I give you an assignment, so I will tell you my expectation, what I'm expecting from you. And my expectation is that criteria. And when I'm marking, I will place that my criteria side by side while I'm marking your assessment, and I will use it to mark you. It's just like marking guide. Let me put it that way. So your assessment criteria is just like the guiding, the marking guide. So please make that your assessment criteria your friend. Study it at every stage of your assessment writing. So when you are writing your assessment, go through that assessment criteria to know if you are following the pattern, if you are following what your tutor or your lecturer asks you to do. And I'm going to show you sample of criteria so that some of us who are not aware, you will know that when you see this, go to Canvas, it's there for those who are at the University of Bradford. Go to the assignment icon, you will see the assignment criteria there. Now, if you look at this is an example of assignment criteria. Rotimi, you need to mute that person there, please. Now, this is what is called always at the rubric, and you will see for a particular assignment, this was gotten from a particular assignment. You will see the presentation, the structure, the writing, communication, and referencing. Then, if you want to score like 70%, then you need to be targeting outstanding and excellent. If you want to score maybe 60%, which is a merit, then you should be looking at very good. If you just want to score 50%, then you should be looking at satisfactory. If you want to score 40%, you should be looking at basic. Then 39% and to a 0, then you should be looking at significant fail and substantial fail. So this is the first thing that should come to your mind. So where am I going? Once you receive your assessment, go and check the assignment criteria. And please focus on the outstanding and the excellent. What is it that you are expected to do? You are expected to have an excellent, polished, and coherent structure, excellent fluency and academic writing, thoughtful, an idea clearly expressed. So you know that is your focus in terms of presentation, structure, writing, communication. Then you will go to the knowledge and understanding. What is it that they expect me to do there? They want an excellent demonstration of knowledge. That is, you have an idea of the course content, you have an idea, you understand the question itself. Then you can as well move. I think we're having about 5, the critical analysis and application. The critical writing is a very, very, how do I put it? I know it's somehow difficult, especially for those of us who are coming from the developing world, because we are not used to writing critically. We're used to exam writing, and we are done. But here you have to have a kind of debates when it comes to the literature review. Reviewing literature, putting them together, and have a kind of debate, like I've said before. This is what author A said, this is what author B said, this is that, and this is my own opinion. Merging them together. I'm going to look at some examples today. At the end of the day, you should have an evaluation and conclusion as well. Many students, I'm sure, for those who have been here since January, many of them, they have submitted assessment without even including conclusion, for example, because probably maybe the assignment criteria did not mention that, or the lecturer never mentioned that I should include conclusion. But at least you should have a kind of structure that when I see some structure, even though if the student did not write a very good stuff, but looking at the structure alone, I would be happy. I've seen students, the spacing alone is a problem. They will put one paragraph up, another one down, and that's the whole thing is disjointed. Your structure is very important. The way alignment, the page number, all those things are very, very important. You might be thinking they are nothing. We're only bothered about the content. Yes, we bothered about the content, but nevertheless, we want to see the structure. We want to see how organized you are as well. And that is why you can see Now, one of the criteria is the presentation structure, writing, communication, and referencing. These are very important. And having said that, you need to study the assessment criteria. That is an assessment criteria for each of the assessments. Please go and study it. And for those who are at the University of Bradford, you can get that through Canvas. Having said that, we want to look at types of assessment or type of assignment that we deal with at higher education here in the United Kingdom. The first one is essay. Then the second one is report. Then the third one is presentation, either individual and group presentation. Then we've got the reflective tasks, we've got case studies as well, and we've got group work. So these are the types of assessment that we deal with here in the United Kingdom. Now, having said that, sorry, somebody is trying to, just a moment, please. Just a moment. I think the person is trying. Okay, so we have these, how many types now? We have 5 types of assessments that I've mentioned. We have essay, we have reports, presentation, individual and group presentation, reflective tasks, case studies, and group work. Now, among these 5, among these 6 that I've mentioned, 2 of them are very, very common. 2 of them are very, very common. And it's the essay and the report. Oh my God. Unfortunately, people are trying to join, but unfortunately, this platform, Rotimi, this platform can only take 100 people, and a lot of people want to join. So you might need to just put out a message that we will send the link to them at the end of the day so that they can watch it. Sorry, I think this link can only take 100 people. So we have essay and report. These are very important. Presentation, we don't bother a lot about presentation when it comes to the postgraduate. I am handling one of the undergraduate course, and my assessment focus there is presentation, because it's easier, to deal with presentation when you have a smaller number of students, and we'd have that at the undergraduate level. But at postgraduate level, we deal a lot with the essay and the report, especially at the School of Management and also the social science as well. We deal with that. Presentation as well is very important, but we don't do much of that at the postgraduate level for business school and the School of Management. But I am aware that those who are doing public health, for example, the health-related courses, some social sciences as well, they deal with presentation. They also deal with reflective tasks, reflecting on patients, for example, reflecting on some things, maybe some work that they've been asked to do, reflecting on those things. They deal with them a lot. But we don't deal with the reflecting tasks like that at the School of Management. Case study is another thing as well. Group work is another thing. But this afternoon, I will be dealing with how to deal with essay and reports. So these other 4, we will not deal with them much. But if you've got any question, you can ask it because of our time. So we'll be looking at essay, and we'll be looking at how to write your report and how to write it. The first question you need to ask yourself, and what you need to do is an essay. For example, what is an essay? And here I said an essay presents a discussion. It presents a kind of argument about a topic, using evidence to present the author perspective on the topic. So in this case, essay is you presenting a kind of discussion. Is you presenting a kind of argument about a given topic. A topic will be given to you, either by your tutor or by your lecturer. And for example, they can ask you to discuss what is the role of COVID-19, for example, on the United Kingdom economy. That's a topic. And you were asked to to deal with that. Now, remember, there is no right or wrong answer in all these things. That is the first thing that should come into your mind. But we want to see, like I've mentioned before, using those criteria, we want to see your understanding about that topic. We want to see how you are able to build arguments using evidence from the literature. I know that is so difficult for you, but just relax. You will get it. Now, having said that, so it's about discussion. You are building a kind of story. When you are writing essay, you are building a kind of story, but not outside the context of the topic. But you are doing that based on the context of the topic. So you are the one that is going to look for materials. You will look for what are those things? How are you going to structure that assignment? It is your responsibility to know how to structure that assignment. Before this population we've got, and we still do that, sometimes we ask you to submit your structure first so that we give you like a formative feedback. But sincerely, we can't do that again because of the kind of population we've got. But we still do that when we have just a smaller number in a class. We still ask them, oh, before you submit your assessment, we can give you a kind of formative feedback, but we can't do that again now. So you need to understand the difference between essay and report. We're going to go into report shortly. So essay is giving you a topic, and you build an argument based on that. And here is the structure. For those who are looking for the structure, here is the structure of how to write an essay. And I'm going to say something about this structure. The first thing that is very important, which I always love to see, and I'm sure that my colleagues as well, they always love to see it, is the introduction and the conclusion. The introduction is very, very important. But I'm surprised these days that students don't even write. They will just start just like that. And don't forget that when I presented the assessment criteria at that time, I told you about presentation and structure. It is a key, it's very important. Sincerely, I've had the opportunity to mark thousands of essays, thousands of student coursework. And when I see students writing introduction, I will specifically mention it. That yes, thank you for giving me introduction in this assessment. Because I wouldn't want you to just start like that. For example, you were asked to write about the impact of COVID-19 in the United Kingdom. And maybe you were asked to write it, and without introduction, you just started like that. It doesn't work that way. We won't be happy. Even though if you focus on the content, that is fine. So introduction provide you with some background information. You can start with background information. For example, if I ask you to write about COVID-19, in your introduction, you can tell me, this assessment will focus on the impact of COVID-19 on the United Kingdom economy, for example. And to do that, I am going to be discussing how the genesis of COVID-19, I'm going to be discussing the role of COVID-19, I'm going to be discussing the aspect of economy that has been affected by COVID-19. If you do that in your introduction, sincerely, the marker will be very happy because you have set the ball rolling. You have given that introduction that this is the focus of this assessment, this is what I'm dealing with, and this is how I'm going to answer the question. So please, unless if it was stated or if it is stated in the assessment that introduction is not necessary. But if it is not stated, make sure that the first thing you need to do is to have an introduction. And in the introduction, you will tell us about the assessment again. Just repeat the assessment, that in this assessment, this is what I'm going to do. This is the focus of this essay, and this is how I'm going to answer that. Then you move to the body, and this is where the issue is now. At the body, I've discovered that a lot of students we now give subheadings, or let me say subtopic, or let me use the word headings rather. You should have a kind of subheadings. For example, I'm looking at COVID-19, the impact of COVID-19 on the United Kingdom economy. So the first thing is, I've got my introduction there. The second thing is, I will now sit down. What are those subtopics or subheadings am I going to be having in this assessment? So for example, I might want to look at what is background information regarding COVID-19. That is one. I might want to look at what is COVID-19 itself. That is two. I might also want to look at, okay, what is the effect of COVID-19 on the general economy, on maybe the world economy, for example. I might want to look at that. Then I might also want to look at a specific subheadings on the impact. That is where you are answering the question now, on the impact of COVID-19 on the UK economy. So if you look at what I've mentioned 4 subheadings. These are very important. I don't need to tell you that you should have subheading. Your lecturer does not need to tell you that you need to have a subheading there, except otherwise stated. If it is not stated, please make sure. I'm talking about the structure now. Structure is very important. The content are more important than structure, but at least structure will show that you know what you are doing. So once you have your introduction, sit down again and come up with subheadings based on that topic. And those subheadings should be able to provide answer to what your lecturer asks you to write about. I'm citing that example again, the impact of COVID-19 on the UK economy. So I decided that I'm going to have 4 subheadings. So immediately after my introduction, then the next thing is subheading number 1. What is COVID-19? I will discuss about COVID-19, and you are not just writing those things from your head. If you do that, you are going to commit what is called plagiarism. We're going to have a session on that. You want to use the literature to write all those things. So once you have that structure in place, the next thing is to now go to the internet. You can use Google Scholar. The university library is always there. Type those topics there. You will see a lot of information regarding those subtopics. Put them together and start reading. And what you just think is you want to build an argument. For example, if I said, what is COVID-19? You might start by saying, according to Kolawole 2022, he stated that COVID-19 is this, is this, is that. However, there is another perspective to the word COVID-19 as presented by Rotimi 2022. Now, if you look at it now, you have built a kind of argument. That is what is called critical writing. What I've just done now is what is called critical writing. So I have stated that according to Kolawole 2022, this is the meaning of COVID-19 based on Kolawole perspective. However, Rotimi 2021 presented a different view to what Kolawole said. And Rotimi said that COVID-19, I'm just using that word, is blah, 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 blah. That is fine. You have built a kind of argument between the first author and the second author. You know what is COVID-19. You can write it from your head, but we want you to use the literature to generate the idea, to generate the meaning of what COVID-19 is all about. Then you can now move to the second part, which is probably might be the impact of COVID-19 on the world economy. Then you can even go into statistics, for example, and present some statistics. You can even show it there. Then that means you are getting what we ask you to do. It's not that you just use your idea and say, COVID-19, it affected the movement of people. Yes, it does, but it is there in the literature. Look for where it is stated in the literature and put it there. It is affected supply chain, for example, food for supply chain. Yes, we know that. It's the common sense that we all know. We all see that. But what we want you to do is go to the literature and bring those points out. So your ability to now sit down and put them together is what you need to know how to do. And we're going to have another section on critical writing. So once you have those body, you have the sub, you have the sub-headings. You have the sub-headings where you will explain some of those things. And then you must have a conclusion, except if otherwise said by the assessment criteria, that you don't need conclusion. If not, you need to include the conclusion there. And in the conclusion, you are just going back to what you have said in the introduction. That based on what I said, this is the topic of the essay, and this is what we've been able to do. We've been able to achieve what we stated in the introduction that we're going to achieve. We have achieved it in the conclusion. Then that is fine. Then you must have a list of references. References is very important. You must have a list of references at the end of the day. And once you have that, you will list all the authors that you have mentioned. And we have said you are going to use Harvard referencing. You are going to use Harvard referencing. So if you've got any question as I am talking here, please, you might want to just send your question here and make sure you mute yourself if you want to ask, or you raise up your hand, then I will provide answer to those questions. So that is about essay. And I think I have some slides about that. What introduction is all about. I think if you have access to the recording, you will read about this. I won't be wasting my time much on this. I've explained on this. So you start with the broad view of the topic. You include a small amount of background information. You provide an overview of how you will answer the question. Then by telling the learner what your perspective is on the topic, and outline what the structure of the essay will be. It is very important for you to do that. Now, I've explained a lot about this, the body of essay. You need to have some headings for each of these. Your main idea will be discussed and you have it listed, but let it be more organized. Then you have conclusion as well. Again, you go back to the topic and give an overall summary of the main points raised in the essay. You may also be required to give recommendation. Some essay asks you to give recommendation and briefly state possible implication in your essay. So that is about essay, and here is a sample. This was one of the coursework I gave to my students some years ago. And this is how an essay will look like. This is not a report now. I'm going to show you a sample of report. This is an individual coursework of 2,500 words, excluding page, title page, content page, table figures, appendix, and bibliography, worth 100% of the module mark. So this is a good example of an essay. Now you were asked, choose one of the logistics and or supply chain management function from the following list and critically discuss how this function transformed by technology, that is robotics, Internet of Things, data analytics, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, using actual examples, that is inventory planning, and so on and so forth. The assignment is still going to highlight key benefits and challenges for suppliers and or customers through adoption of technology using actual examples. So this is a good example. Present your argument in a clear structure. So what I want us to do, given this, based on what I've said so far, The first thing, I want you to go to the chart and come up with the structure for this assessment based on what I've said and based on what you were asked to do. That is, the introduction, I want someone to come up with a structure, the body, the subheadings, just type it there, and I will check them out. I'll be happy if we can do that, because I want us to make this section more, how do I put it, more interactive, so that I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. So yes, so if we can go to this chat box, using this example, let's just start with the structure first. So develop a structure for me based on this example. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do that. Just come up with subheadings that you think these are the subheadings that you think they are necessary for this structure. And don't forget, I like key benefits. In fact, this essay has even given you structure. No, we have given you structure here. So just let me hear from you. Can you do that, please? Let me give 2 or 3 people that opportunity to tell me what you think you are going to, how you are going to structure this essay. Yes. Or if you want to unmute yourself, you can unmute and just tell me. I think that will be more, it will reduce time. You can unmute yourself. You think you can tell me structure for this essay based on what I've said. Let me put it again for you. Yeah, here is the question. Okay, introduction, definition of supply chain function. Yeah, thank you. Moses, thank you for that. Then what else? What else? The body. I'm interested more in the body. What do you think you are going to include? Is Adebisi, do you want to say something regarding this? Or
on the question of building my argument, I want to ask, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on.
If I am to quote someone's work, at the end, in my reference page, I acknowledge them. I quoted him verbatim. I now draw my own conclusion. I now put my own view there. Won't I be accused of plagiarism?
No, you will not, because the essence of what you have done, or what we ask you to do, build those arguments and let us hear your own voice as well. What is your own view based on what you have said? Now, or you might be accepting their view, which is fine. For example, what is COVID-19? Kolawole 2021 stated that this is COVID-19, but however, there's a different opinion, and this is what Rotimi 2021 said. Based on the focus of this essay, I will be adopting the definition provided by Rotimi. That is your view. So you've told us that, okay, I've looked at these 2 definitions. So based on the focus of what I'm writing about, I am adopting the definition by this person. And that solved the problem. So we have seen your opinion there. And if you are quoting somebody, it is fine. Because I find out that a lot of students will just be quoting. The quoting you are quoting is also distorting what you are writing about. Because we want to hear your voice. We don't ask you to just give us literature. What does this mean to you, for example? So when you quote, it is fine, but let us hear your voice. What are you saying? If you know that what you have written is based on someone else's perspective, not your own perspective, you need to reference that point. But if it is your own perspective, it is fine. Once it is not your perspective, you need to put reference in there. If not, you are going to commit plagiarism. Is that okay, Adebisi?
Okay, sir. So
yeah, so let me go on, then we'll come back again so that we can take question and answer, because we don't have time. Okay, so I've seen some structure here. Introduction, the supply chain, AI in supply chain, the transportation benefit of AI in supply chain. Challenge, this is very good. Sincerely, Arienta, this is what I want. That's a good structure. So you have given me introduction. You have also mentioned what the benefit. Because if you actually look at this, if you look at this, you have actually been given the structure. Because you have been given the structure here. And that is what most students don't know. So I like key benefits. So I want to see an heading on key benefits. Also, challenges. I want to see an heading on the challenges. And you are not just speaking from your own mind. You need to use actual example as well. So, for example, what are the challenges of artificial intelligence on suppliers? You might give example. And those examples might be a case study. It might be from your experience. You know, using a particular company, for example, as a case study. We will be happy to see that. So we'll be looking at it that yes, so you actually know what you are talking about. We are not just asking you to write. No, use actual example where possible. We are talking about challenges. What are those challenges? Mention them and mention how they affect. What are those key benefits? Mention those key benefits and practicalize it in what you are writing. For example, the key benefit of artificial intelligence on transportation, we can track the movement of our goods. That's a good example. No, you can use that. Or you can look at the literature, maybe there is maybe an author mention some of the key benefits. You can state it that according to Kolawole 2022, he stated that these are the benefits of artificial intelligence. And this other author also mentioned some of the benefits of artificial intelligence. So in this case, you can see that we have a structure already. So all what you need to do is for you to understand, you need to sit down, understand what you were asked to do, and put your mind together to reflect and come up with a structure, you know, that will give you what you actually need. So thank you for those who have contributed. Yes, I can see okay, new student, title page, table of content, good one. These are the good structure I'm talking about. The supply chain industry, advancement industry, advantages of use of technology in this body, warehousing as a component of supply chain, current challenges with warehousing, technology. Yeah, this is a very good one as well. So you can see that structure. So you first of all, if you don't have this structure when you are writing an essay, it will be difficult for you to write it. So the first thing I will do is to just come up with this structure that new student gave to us now. Then I can now plan how I'm going to be writing it. So like today now, I might write my introduction. I'll just keep it somewhere. The next day, I can write about logistics before technology. And the upper day, I can write about logistics now. Somebody has given us another structure again. Another day again, I'll just write about impact of artificial intelligence on logistics. Somebody said key wins. You write it and keep it somewhere. The next time you write about challenges. The next time you write about mitigation. Then lastly, you write about recommendation. Then you can now put everything together. Simple as ABC. Now, that was the time we wanted to submit a journal, and you know we have to write literature review, about 5,000 literature review. And and it took me just a day to write it, sincerely. I just took a day off and I went to my office, locked my office from morning to night, and I've completed 5,000 words. You know, that is my area anyway. I don't have any issue with that. And I completed it, and some people asked, so fast? I said, yes, since I know what I'm looking for. So the first thing I did was to have a structure in place. And once I finished this one, even as at yesterday, I was in the office yesterday because we were meant to submit a paper, I think next week. And I was meant to write a 3,000 words literature review. I was in the office yesterday, I think around 8 a.m. And I left office around 3 p.m. And believe me, at least I didn't finish everything, but I wrote like 70% of it. So it's just for you to put together. Look at the structure that Ajoguni gave us again now. So you see, those points are also important, and they are there in the Word document. 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. These are also good structure. And you have that in the Word document that you're supposed to be using. And many of us, we don't use it. We just leave our essay just like that without organizing it. Even justification, to use justification for some students is very difficult. And I was just wondering, why is it difficult to just justify what you have written? It makes your work more beautiful. So when I see it, I'll be happy to read it. And not the one paragraph scatter, another one scatter, even incomplete sentence. You need to proofread your word. There's a lot of things that the lecturer himself will know at least you try. And believe me, you can do it. So that is, thank you for those who have contributed. This is a second example of individual essay. So this is an individual coursework 1005. Choose any company of your choice that has adopted a triple bottom line model. You are required to critically discuss the following. You can look at it. So critically discussing the following. This one has even aligned some of the headings. But here in the introduction, you need to now mention the name of the company you are going to be using. Okay, this is the focus of this essay, and I'm going to be I will be critically discussing company ABC in this essay. Many students will not even mention the name of the company, and they will just be discussing. They will believe the lecturer will understand. Don't leave room for assumption. Don't allow your lecturer to understand. I will put it there that I don't understand. Even I want you to mention it. I've given you opportunity. Mention the name of the company. State it that this is the company you are going to be reviewing, and you are going to be critically discussing this company. Mention it in the introduction. Anything you want to do in that assignment, mention it in the introduction. The lecturer will be happy to see it. But if you don't mention it and you are just there, you just believe the lecturer, at least he gave me the topic now, so he will know the topic. No, we want you to mention it. Mention the topic. Very important. Mention the topic. Very, very important. And you now highlight how you are going to do it. Because of our time, let's look at the report. The report provides clearly organized information about a situation, problem under investigation. So in this case, you will be given a scenario. Sometimes you'll be given a scenario that, in this company, we want you to investigate what is happening regarding their human resources, for example. And you should present and make recommendation. So the information may come from experience, your reading, your research, experiment, measurement conducted in laboratory or out in the field. Sometimes the science students, those who are in science, they use this as well. They will give them a scenario and they will ask you to report about it. And let's look at the structure again. So here is the structure and presentation. Report may have different structure, don't forget. It's depending on the discipline and the context. But a fairly typical example is presented below. And here we are. The first thing is the executive summary. Report will always have executive summary. Essay does not have executive summary unless otherwise stated. I've seen students writing abstracts for essay. You don't need abstract. You are not doing dissertation. You are not doing thesis. Unless it is mentioned by the lecturer that I want to see abstract there. You don't have to put abstract there. You don't have to put executive summary for essay. But executive summary, unless if it is not stated, it is required when you are writing reports. So just like an abstract, executive summary will summarize your findings. So you present, you have a kind of presentation regarding what you have found, what you are going to be doing, what you have done. It's just summarizing what you have done so far. And they will give you the word count. It might be 150 words or 100 words. But don't write executive summary for essay when you are writing essay. But report is very important that you have an executive summary when you are writing your report. Again, just like essay, introduction is also important when you are writing report. So you need to include introduction, just like we have mentioned. setting up the body of the report, you explain the overall topic, your thesis or anything, any background, and you are going to tell us what you are going to be doing as well. So just like the format of the essay, report also require that you should have introduction. Then you need body. The body also now will now be based on what, if you were given to discuss some of those situations, your assessment criteria may give it to you, or you also come up with subheadings, just like what you did, during the one that we talked about in essay. So you can have body as well. The body of the report explains all your major discovery, broken up into headings, don't forget, and subheadings. The body make up the majority of the entire report, where introduction and conclusion are just few paragraphs. So you are going to have subheadings. So it is very important. Then you have conclusion as well. Then when you are writing report, it is always advisable for you to have recommendation. You also include your recommendation. In fact, some will ask you that at the end of the day, make sure you have a recommendation. So here is a typical example of report structure. A title and a clear, a concise report title, table of content, summary, that is executive summary, introduction, the body, the conclusion, recommendation, the reference list. Reference list is Harvard, very, very important. Then, that is the two things we are going to be focusing on today. And before we start asking questions, I want to show you the short to Harvard referencing. So Harvard referencing, I think I might need to, I'm looking at how I need to. Okay, so let me just use the chat box. So when you are dealing with Harvard referencing, if it is just one author, for example, if it is Kolawole, you want to quote Kolawole. So it will be Kolawole's surname. My surname is Kolawole, for example. And it will be Kolawole. I think these guys, they've got board. Let me see if they have board so that I can just use that. Just a moment, please. Okay. Can we all see that? I don't know if we can see that. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it, sir.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
we can see it.
Okay. I want to see if I can write. So it will be Kolawole. Sorry. So this is only for one author. And the bracket 2021. So if, for example, if you are referencing just one author, this is the perfect way to do it. Now, if there are more than one, maybe there are two. This is just for one person, one author. For two authors, so let's say Kolawole and Rotimi, for example. So it will be Kolawole, then let me just shorten it, Kola, and you need to write and the second person, in this case, let's use Rotimi. So here, again, you put the year, which is 2021. This is for authors that are just two. Now, if there are more than two, which is maybe there are 3, there are 4, there are 5, it will be the first author. In this case, we are looking at Kolawole. So it will be Kolawole Airtel. Sorry. I need to rub that. Oh, I don't know. I want to clean this, so I'm just practicing this for the first time. So it will be a tear. Yeah, so it will be a tear, and you put 2021 again. So which is that is Kolawole, and the first octal is, if it is one octal, Kolawole, two octal, Kolawole and Rotimi, three octal, Kolawole, Airtel, 2021. Now, you can actually, without, if you don't want to bother yourself a lot about, okay, thank you. Somebody is doing magic here. Thank you. That's a good one. Thank you. Somebody is doing magic for me. So if you want to, you might not need, what is it called? This referencing software, EndNote, for example. If you don't want to use EndNote, and there is a very short way to show you, and I will take you again to, let me take you to the internet now. I don't know, how do I go back? How do I go back? How do I go back? This is the first time of using this. Okay, close the window. Okay. So I'm coming. Let me do something now. Let me do something. Oh, sorry. So let me show you something now. I want to go to Google Scholar and show you how you can get your Harvard from Google Scholar. So I'm coming. Okay. Okay, so this is Google. So we want to go to Google Scholar. Google Scholar. Here is Google Scholar. I don't know if did you see Google Scholar there? Did you guys see Google Scholar?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now this is Google Scholar, and I want to, let me use myself. Okay, so here is one of my papers. Addressing food waste and loss in the Nigerian food supply chain. The use of Lean Six Sigma. And I don't want to use EndNote, but I want to copy the Harvard referencing from here. So what I need to do is just to come here. If you look at the site, I hope you can see it. Can you all see that? If you look at sites, just click on sites. You will see the list of referencing style. You will see Harvard referencing there. I hope you can see Harvard referencing there. Just copy the Harvard referencing, copy it. Then go and paste it into your Word documents. It will give you the style, the Harvard referencing style straight away, without you using EndNote. But we said EndNote is encouraging us to help you to organize your work. But I'm just giving you the short way as well that you can get Harvard referencing without using EndNote. So what you need to do, go to Google Scholar. Once you have the topic, type the topic there, go to sites, you will see it there. Then it will give you options of different style. Then you can just click on it, then copy that same thing, copy it, right click and copy, then go and paste it on your Word documents, on your referencing list. Then once you paste it on your referencing list, it's now depend on you. If you know, this is like, for example, now this is three author. So I know that if I want to cite these people, I will use Kolawole Airtel 2021 because they are more than two. So that is what I would do. And that is a very simple example of how you can use, you can cite without using Google Scholar, without using EndNote. And I'm going to stop here to entertain question. And let me just check the. I also want to that we are doing in my cousin. Okay. Yeah, we do that a lot in artificial intelligence, where the first part is essay, and the second part will give you who is sharing screen without permission. Please, can you stop sharing? You didn't tell us that you are sharing. Who is this person now? So, for example, there are some assignments in artificial intelligence for those who are doing artificial intelligence. You will notice that the first part is like an essay. Talk generally about the artificial intelligence. They will give you a topic. The second part, you will be asked to go and look for data, then make presentation based on that data and present to us. And in that aspect, you are going to follow the report aspect, but you don't need executive summary because it's a continuation of your work. You don't need an executive summary, but you need an introduction. So have an introduction there for the second part and tell them that you are focusing on this company and you have gotten their data. This is the data you have gotten, and you are going to be analyzing that data and have a body in there. The next body is to analyze the data. You've been asked to use Stata or you'll be asked to use R coding, analyze those things, present your work, and make recommendation. There is no way you can make that report without making recommendation. You need to tell us, this is your recommendation, and this is what you have found. So that is about that, just to answer that question. Yes, so let's read what we have. It is possible the author have different years. Yes, it is possible. It is possible for the author to have different years. And when you do that, what you just need to do is, let me see if I can use this whiteboard again. So if you want to, if it is different author, what you just need to do here, you just need to put the year. This is 2021. If it is the same author, 2021, you can just put hyphen here and just write that same year, hyphen here. Oh, thank you for that person. If that person can help me put hyphen after 2021, this person that did this one for me, please help me out. Okay, tell me, yeah. Put hyphen after 2021. No, sorry. Semicolon, sorry, semicolon. Yes, so write 2022 there. So which means you are referring to the same author, but different year. The same author, but different year. So you can do that. You can as well put for color and Rotimi. So you can put 1999, you can put 2022 because put 2022. So which means you are referring to the same author, but different year. So I hope I've answered your question. So let me listen to those who are raising up their hand. Yeah, Hyphen, is it Hyphen? Do you want to unmute yourself? Thank you, Timmy. Yeah, that's nice.
Yes, please. Good evening, Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation and clarification. So I just wanted to ask a question. Okay, so if you're giving a 500-word coursework to say, let me just use from the sample you gave us to say, what is the relationship between robotics, Internet of Things, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and just in 500 words, what do you think is supposed to be the appropriate structure before we start writing, really? Thank you.
So the entire word count is 500, right?
Yes, sir.
In that case, it's very short. So
Mhm.
you don't need body. You don't need to now say introduction, maybe subsection. It might be difficult. But if I am in your shoe, what I would do is to still have introduction there. And the introduction can be like 50 words. Then you move to body straight away. And maybe just one heading. And you just discuss short, about what artificial intelligence is all about and its impact. And that second one might be the topic itself, the topic that you are asked to do. Then you just move to conclusion straight away. So for that body, you might not need a lot of headings. Do you understand? Because the word count is a short one. So you don't need all those bodies. So, but make a good structure again. Your introduction should be there. The body should be about the topic. You can have a title there. Then you move to the conclusion. Then you have your reference list. Simple as it is. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
At least 500 words should be about a page.
Okay.
It should be about a page. So when you have it like that, it's okay. So you don't have to write much. In that case, you want to be going straight. You still use literature, but you want to be answering those questions. And don't forget that it's no right or wrong answer. Don't think you miss it. But your lecturer at times will tell you what they are looking for. That's why we advise students to attend lectures. At times when I'm lecturing, for example, I do mention about my exam, about my report, what I want you to do, what I'm expecting. Be jotting it down. And one thing about us from the developing world is that when lecturer is talking, we don't jot down. And you will not see the white people doing that. There was a time I was lecturing and I saw this white student writing. By the time I finished, I asked him to bring his note. It's about 3 pages already from what I was talking about. He was writing. But we blacks, we will not write. And it's not good. From when your lecturer is talking, be picking out stuff because you definitely mention what they want you to do in your assessment or in your exam. So learn how to write. Okay, thank you. Ajogunni.
Hello, thank you so much, sir, for your time. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you. This is brilliant. Thank you. Quite insightful. Really appreciate this. Just quick one. We have a coursework to do. I'm just thinking, I have a company in my mind, which I know so much about, and I think that's what I actually want to write about. But my fear is I might not have adequate, referencing. So I don't know, is this something that is appropriate to do that, or should I just go straight to established companies where I can get references, or it doesn't matter? Is this something I can go ahead? Thank you.
Okay, so my question is it a thesis or an essay or a report?
It's just a report, more like coursework.
Okay, coursework. And how many words?
2,000, sir.
And you were asked to use a company, right?
Yes, to use a company, either just an abstract company or an existing company.
Now, don't forget when you are doing referencing, you are not referencing that company alone.
Yeah.
And what we want you to do, based on that topic, a lot of authors, they've done something relating to that topic. Go and look for them.
Okay.
When you are saying something, even though if it is your own word, this is a shortcut. If it is your word, look for an author. Google it. You see, Google Scholar I love it. When you put any topic there, you will see things that people have done.
Okay, sir.
When you are saying that thing, be putting the author there to avoid plagiarism. By the time you now if you don't put author there, by the time you now put it in the Turnitin, you will find out that your statement, somebody have mentioned it before.
Okay.
You understand? But if, as you are saying it, you put Kolawole 2021, even though if it is not like a direct word from Kolawole, but you know it's related to what you are talking about, put it there.
Okay.
Then for the company, mention the name of the company. Mention the name of the company. Once the name of the company, you have referenced that company.
Okay.
Except if you don't want to mention, you can use, for example, case study, case company, for example. You can say, oh, the case company that we are using, if they ask you to mention the name, fine. If you don't want to mention the, you can, oh, the case company, they are into buying and selling of raw materials, blah, 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 blah. You have referenced them.
Oh.
But when you are now talking and you are explaining, we want you to go back to the literature, see what people have done in that line, and be putting the reference in there. Is that
Thank
okay?
you so much. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir, ADBC.
Okay, so a follow-up to that question, is it appropriate to cut data from a company that I want to write about, to cut data from the Statista?
What do you mean by cuts?
I mean to
Is it
copy
to
their
quote,
data.
you want to quote, you want to
data.
quote their data?
Yes.
Why not?
Okay.
Now there is a reference. If you are referencing a company, and that is where this thing coming now, EndNote. If you want to use EndNote will tell you if you are referencing, for example, the website. If you want to reference my website, there's a space there on EndNote that will help you to learn how to reference a website. So if you've got a company that you want to quote, I'm sure they have a reference, they have a website, and I'm sure you put their reference, put the name of the organization or the company name on EndNote if you are using EndNote, for example, and just quote them when you are talking, because it is their data. You need to mention them, very important. If you don't mention them, no, it will pick it up. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I've got some questions here.
I have a question, sir.
Okay, let me talk.
Thank you, sir. Please,
Yeah.
I want to ask a question on referencing. Okay, let's say I come across your writing and probably you make mention of a statement in which you actually cited someone, okay, maybe Kumuyi, something like that,
Yeah.
and then I want to put that statement in my writing.
Yeah.
Do I actually cite you, or I cite Kumuyi, the one you actually cited? That's number one. Second question is, when you said we should copy the Harvard referencing from the Google Scholar and then put in
you
our
can.
writing.
I'm not saying that is the standard, but you can. I'm just giving you a shortcut so that you will not be tomorrow and say, it is Dr. Kalawale.
What I want to understand is that copying that will automatically generate all our reference lists for us. When I copy it to my document, that I don't understand. When you copy it to your document, what are you going to be using to do?
See, like I showed you, you want to copy it and paste on the Word document you are working on. So I gave you an example of this now. Look at this one now. You are just copying it. Then when you copy this now, you put it on the Excel sheet on your Word documents where you are writing your essay. You keep it there. You check the second, so it will not automatically copy. It doesn't do that. I think it's only EndNote. This is manual. I'm only showing you some shortcuts to referencing in terms of Harvard, because we want to use Harvard referencing. But I'm just showing you that through Google, if you have the time, you can just copy, put it there, copy, put it there, copy, and put it there. Is that okay? Do you understand, Kumuyi?
Yes,
Now, here is an example. Here is my paper. Let me see. Just to show you an example. I'm not sure if I still have access to this paper online, but I think I should have access. This is my paper. Guys, I want to show you the structure I've been talking about since, but I don't think I've got access unless I go to University of Bradford. Let me see if I have access to that. Sorry. I just want to show you that's that paper, and you will see the structure. You will see the structure. Okay, so now look at this paper. This is the topic. And again, abstract is needed because that is what they asked for. And look at the introduction. Now, if you look at the introduction, this is a company, is an organization, and see the way I quoted that organization here. A report by Food Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. I've quoted it. But again, because I use EndNote, I want it to appear. I have it here as well, because I use EndNote in this case. And if you can see the way I reference more than one author in one sentence, you can see FOA 2013, 2014, this other guy. You can see the way I quoted them. I was just using semicolon, semicolon, semicolon to guide all those things. Now you will see it's alive. I was talking about the report. You will see the way I was building the story here, talking about that report by FOA, you know. Then I move again to talk about food wastage and loss. You know, if you look at it, I'm showing you example of introduction now. And again, I spoke about a lot of things, but this is where I'm going. And here, I began to speak about the focus of the research. This research will provide empirical evidence on how promote blah, blah, blah. So all these are in the introduction, you can see. Then I now provided the structure. I provided the structure of what the remaining part of the paper will address. So the rest of this paper is structured as follows. I would love to see this if students write this, that the rest of this essay or the rest of this report is structured as follows. The next section present blah, blah, blah. The next section present this, the next section present, simple as ABC. So, and for that next section, that is what you'll be focusing on. And I will advise if you can pick this paper and read it, it really help you. You can see the literature review. I started by looking at what is supply chain, you know, what is Lean, Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma as well. So you can read this paper. You will see the way I was actually debating here. You know, for example, let me show you an example. I've seen somebody ask that question, that if I am citing another person and you are not the original owner of that statement. So two ways you can do it. You can say that as Kolawole 2021 as cited by, you use two authors there. So which means Kolawole 2021 as cited by, claim that COVID-19 is a dangerous disease around the world. So you can either use the two together. That is, use Kolawole as cited by Rotimi in 1999. You can do that. Kolawole 2021 as cited by Rotimi in 2021. Or you go and read Rotimi, you might not bother. You find it with Kolawole, but you don't want to go through that. Go back and read that Rotimi's paper and see where he stated it. Then you can use it. So that is another way. So you can use as cited by Rotimi, or you can go back to Rotimi itself and just quote Rotimi directly. But you must make sure that it was there in Rotimi's work. So you can see, and when you are doing, what is it called? When you are quoting, you need to put page number. When you are quoting somebody directly, I want to see if I've got page number here anyway. If you are quoting someone directly, a page number is needed. Very, very important, because you are quoting that person directly. And I'm trying to see, okay, so for example, you can see this one. This is page number because I quoted that definition. This is the definition. That is OLT as a process of detecting and correcting error within an organization. You can ask, so if you go to this journal now and go to page 116, you will see it there directly. So if you are quoting somebody, page number needs to be there. Very, very important. Page number needs to be there. So that is a good example. You can get that journal and read it and see the way we debate. You see the way, especially read the literature review and see the way debate and see where my words, where they were coming from as well. And that will really help you. So I think we're going to stop here. Okay, I've got some questions here. A lot of questions. Thank you. So how can you differentiate an essay and a report? I've said it before. An essay, they will give you a topic, but for report, it's about situation. They will just ask you to report about a situation. For example, they might, for example, in one of our course module, which I have mentioned before, they ask you to look for a company, pick a company, and go and look for their data. When they say you should pick a company and look for their data, that is not an essay. It is a report. They want you to report about that company. So they might give you a kind of scenario, kind of what they want you to do, and they want you to make recommendation and present. So that is how to know the difference. How to reference standard. Yes, we've been saying it. What I just showed you now is the standard way of referencing, but use the Google Scholar I have mentioned or the EndNote, and those are the standard way. And it is Harvard. We want Harvard. You don't need to number your reference. The list of reference are not meant to be numbered. A lot of students will be numbering them. It is not allowed. That is no longer Harvard, and it will mark you down for that. So is it possible to send a draft of my essay? So imagine if students are sending their essay to me. It is not possible. There is no time. I can only do what I'm doing now. Sorry about that. Is it possible to send it? Okay, some models or tools when I'm writing the essay. Hello, thanks for the presentation. Please, in reference, is there a default style student I expected to use? Yes, the default style is Harvard referencing. So library is also there. Library can help you a lot. You can go to library and find out. I think they usually have a section on Harvard referencing. So Bradford Harvard referencing is what we use at the University of Bradford. Nice work. Can you please differentiate between report? I've said it again. Essay, they will give you a topic to just present, to just talk about. Report, it might be a situation. And I've cited an example, giving you a company or look for a report, a company annual report and make presentation about it. All those ones are essay. Please, can you elaborate more on literature review? Yeah, so I would suggest you read down my paper. You will see the structure. What you just need is just to build an argument. And I will try and see if we can have a section on critical writing, how you can write critically, how you can build those debates. Please, EndNote, yes, there is EndNote. You can go to a library, they will give you free of charge. I think they will download it for you. And it has Harvard reference in there. What is the title of the article? It's Addressing Food Waste and Loss. You can just type my name. Type my name, my full name on Google Scholar or Google. You will see it, a lot of things that you can bring it from there. Organization standard. How recent should yes, reference should be last 5 years. Last 5 years. If you are using reference of 1999, it's outdated. We want at least last 5 years. And the organization standard, I'm trying to read those things. How recent is abstract? Abstract is not needed in report, but executive summary, except if it is not stated, except if it is stated, it is required. But if it is not stated, just use executive report. And some lecturer will say they don't even want the executive report, and abstract is not needed. So go through the assessment criteria, see what they want. The expected number, how about short essay? I've explained the short essay. Look for plagiarism section, that's fine. Is it possible to send it? Okay. References depend on department. Yes, it depends on department. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Even in law, thank you for that. Even in law, referencing is, I think they use number in law. So, but for the School of Management, we use Harvard referencing. In law, I think they use number. Somebody is saying that in chemistry, they use number as well. So find out the criteria. That's why assessment criteria is also very, very important. So then, yes, the format, use single size spacing. Yeah, so all those things are very important. They are very important. You need to understand those things. I want to see if I can open a Word document for you guys to see, so that you can see what I am talking about. I am coming just a moment. Let me see if I can open one Word document. Just a moment. Okay. So let's look at this as an example. Okay, so let me use this as an example. So if you look at this, if you look at this work, this is just one of my previous student dissertation. If you look at what I'm sharing with you now, you will notice, no Mark, you will notice that this assessment is structured. You will notice that this assessment, you will notice that this assessment is structured in a way. I'm going to show you. Now, if you look at this one, you will see that background, you will see that this is justified. Now, if you look at it, it is justified. If you look at it, this is justified. If you come here, I've seen students submitting assessment like this. Do you see the one I highlighted? And this is bad. How can you submit an assignment like this? And that is how it looks like throughout. Even reading it, I will be annoyed, sincerely. Please, justification is there. You can justify it. Come here, it's Word document style. Then some students will leave it like this. Some students will leave it like this. Some will do like this. And they will submit it like that. So your structure is very important. Very, very important. So you should use justification in a Word document, which is this. So your work is justified. Let all your assessments, let them look like this. And have the number there, which you can use headings, you can use all these things. Learn how to use some of these things. They are very important. They will help to structure your work, and your lecturer will be happy to mark your work without any problem. So I don't want to see failure of this year by the special grace of God. So let's try to do our best. I'm going to stop here, and before we go, we'll try as much as possible to see if we can organize another section on plagiarism and another section also on critical writing. So I will try my best and see if that can be done. So thank you for coming. But before we go, let me see if I want to see if I can share something with you guys. So you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can just go Google my name on LinkedIn and make use of LinkedIn too. I'm going to be having a general meeting. I've not discussed that with Rotimi, with all Nigerian students on campus. So please, we have a very important thing to talk together as a family. So all Nigeria, whether you are a member of NSS or you are not a member of NSS, in as much you are in Nigeria and you are here in Bradford, I wish to have a meeting with all of you in my capacity as the president of Nigeria here on campus. I'll be here in Bradford. So there's a lot of things that is going on, and you guys need to be informed, and you also need to get involved in what we are doing. So yeah, I'm just typing our website, so you can go there and register as a member of our community. So I think I just shared that. I'm not sure if I've shared that. I don't know what is going on. No, this thing is not going on. Okay. So you can see what I've shared in the chat box. Please, and our party is coming up on the 10th of December. Please, if you have a chance, you can join us. It's just £10. It's just £10 for non-member. For member is £5. We've reduced it. So I've shared that one with you too. You can just click on it, and also if you can register, that would be nice. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you. Rotimi, do you have anything to say? Let me see if I can. Yep. Rotimi, anything to say?